Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. This is my first video for 2020 and I'm so excited, but I do want to let you know it is a long one, so grab some snacks and a drink and I hope that you enjoy. Hi everyone, I'm back. Finally, new year 2020 and I'm so excited. I am pumped. This year is going to be the year that I really focus on my YouTube channel and really growing it, and I'm super excited. I have so many ideas and I can't wait to get started on it. Today, I'm actually going to do a, this might be a series, I'm not sure yet, or this might just be one video, I'm not sure. It just depends all on you guys. If you wish to, this series is a performance series. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I think I have mentioned it before on my channel that I have a degree in dance. So I used to dance. I don't dance anymore, but I have a degree in dance. I did teach in public schools for about 4 years. I was a dance director, and a lot of my friends that I went to college with are dance directors. And so one of them reached out to me and she asked if I would do a video, makeup video for her team to use as reference for performance makeup. So that is what I'm doing today. And if, you know, we decide to make it a series, and I say we because if, you know, I'm taking your feedback. If you do like it, then I'll continue to make what you want to see. So I can do like a traveling, what to take, your competition bag, you know, competition makeup bag or whatever. We can just make it a whole series if you want, but comment below and let me know. But today I am going to try to use as much drugstore makeup as I can, just to make it more not cost effective, but I know when I was in high school, I wasn't always buying the most expensive makeup, you know, but then again, makeup has come a long way since, you know, oh God, I don't want to give my age, but it's been a long time. And yeah, so makeup has come a long way. I have been doing this for a long time, so let's just say 20 plus years. I've started when I was 13 performing, so I do know a thing or two, and also of course I've become a makeup artist for the last 10 years, so I do have, you know, tips and tricks and stuff for performance makeup, and I'm excited to share that with you today. So let's go ahead and get started. I already did start with my brows because I do have a video on how I do my brows. So it's the same. I just made it a little bit darker just because when you're on stage, you know, you have lots of light. And so light can wash out, you know, your makeup. Not literally wash off, but you know what I mean. So you have to make it a little bit darker than you would in person. So makeup for stage is going to be very different than makeup that you wear on a daily basis or when you're out and about. So you're going to take extra steps to make sure that those with the sweating from the lights and, you know, all that from the movement, your makeup's going to stay in place and it's not going to go anywhere. Like I said before, I tried really hard to make this use drugstore products that I know work and that are readily available for you to buy. So especially if we're talking about a team, the whole team can buy it or order it and it's going to be, you know, easily available to them. So, but like I said, I'm not going to have everything drugstore. I'm going to go with stuff that I know works. So throughout the video, I will give you suggestions of other products that work as well. And you have to keep in mind that everybody's skin tone is different. Everybody's skin type is different. So I will make suggestions, you know, throughout the video. And according to that. So I am, for reference, I am a very dry skin type. So before, when I was younger, I wasn't. Now that I'm older, yes, I am more dry. So I will be using products for me today that are a little more hydrating. But I'll give you suggestions for, you know, the other skin types. So with all of that said, I'm sorry I rambled for a long bit. With that said, let's go ahead and get started. If you do want to see how I do my brows, check out the video in my I'll try to link it down below. So let's go ahead and get started. So I've already done my brows, like I said, and I used the Urban Decay Primer Potion, and this one's the anti-aging one because I am a little older now. So yes, I use this, but then they have the original one. I love this. This is going to keep your eyeshadow on all day, all night, with performing, sweating, all of that. This will stay in place, and it's a nude color, so it's not gonna show anything. But something similar to it is the NYX primer. So that's a dupe for it. So what I did with that, and HD primer, the NYX HD primer is very similar to this. So if you can't get a hold of this, then try the other one. So I put this all over my eye and into my brows because it's clear. It's not going to have any color to it. Because, you know, whatever I put on my brows, I want to make sure that they stay. So I use that. I use the L'Oreal Brow Stylist. The L'Oreal Boost and Set. And this has a little bit of color to it too. And yeah, oh, and the MAC Lingering pencil as well. Everything that was in the video for brows is what I use. Now you can use a pomade if you want. Wet n Wild has a really good pomade. Anastasia Beverly Hills, which is the higher end one, that one's really good as well. So if you want to use a pomade, you can as well, but I prefer using something like this. But there you go. Okay, so the palette that I will be using today to create the looks is, I suggest this one. This one is the Nude Awakening by Wet n Wild Collections. So now that I did my Urban Decay Primer Potion, I'm going to go ahead and add, I like using concealer. You can use concealer, you can use the MAC Paint Early Paint Pot. And I will link a lot of the other stuff down below of the dupes that I'm mentioning in the video. I will go ahead and link them for you. What I think or what I know works. So I'm going to use that. I'm going to use a Japanese brush, and I'm just going to blend it all out. This is going to provide a really nice base for the eyeshadows to really pop. And again, we're talking about performance makeup, not everyday wear makeup. I mean, you can do this for everyday wear makeup, not all the time do I do this, but if I'm doing a dramatic look and I want it to pop, I will do this. Or a really nice glam, and whatever's left over, I'm kind of pouncing it into the bottom lash line too, to kind of prep that for the shadow that I'm gonna be using. With this, the concealer that I use, that I know, I mean, it's my tried and true Tarte Shape Tape. You have to work with it really fast because once it sets, it's set. So that's why I like this big brush, because I can do it really fast and it disperses the product really nicely. And all the way out here. Okay. All right. So we're ready to go. We're ready to roll. Okay, so Tarte Shape Tape is what I used. Okay, so we're gonna start with, and I'm using a fluffy brush. This is by Sephora. You can use the brand that's really good for brushes to start off with that are not that crazy expensive is either Morphe. I'm sorry, I had like a little spot that I didn't quite grab, so I'm adding that. Morphe or ABH Cosmetics. They have really good prices for sets of makeup brushes. Sometimes a BH can have them like, you know, 40% off or whatever. Ulta carries BH, but they don't have those types of sales. Like sometimes they'll have like a 20% off or something, but not 40 or 50% off their brush sets. So I would recommend doing that online, ordering either BH Cosmetics online when they have a sale, which they have one like every other week, just depending on what they're doing, and or Ulta, and you can get Morphe brushes that are, so you just want a brush that's nice and fluffy like this. And I'm starting with the lightest color, and I'm just using that to kind of set a little bit. Okay. After that, I'm going to take what's labeled as a transition color on the top right here. Take that, and I'm going to start working that into the crease. And I'm starting from the outer corner and leaving most of the, dispersing most of the product on the outer corner and slowly bringing it inward with a windshield wiper motion. And just making sure that most of the deposit is on the outer, working inward. Starting to create dimension in the eye. And then the same thing to the other side. Now, every face shape, every eye shape is different, but for the most part, this technique is going to work for all the eye shapes, okay? So starting with the outer corner and working it inward. And you're using, again, that transition color on the top. Okay, so once I get that, okay, you can see how it's already created dimension. So with performance makeup, it is typically a lot darker. So I start off always with the transition color first, because it's going to help me blend out the darker colors, the colors that are going to be more pigmented. So I'm trying to look for my other, okay. I'm trying to look for my Morphe. Or this is the Morphe M514. It's a little bit smaller. And I'm going to start taking the darker transition color. This darker transition color. Okay. I'm tapping off the axis. I'm going to get a little bit closer so you can see. And I'm going to start by just kind of stamping it and depositing the color on the outside first. On the outer third of the eye, and then slowly moving it inward. See that? And I'm going back and adding more product, a little more. Slowly working it inward. It's kind of starting to create the shape that I want. Slowly moving it inward. So yeah, guys, it's been an eventful morning. Okay, I'm going to go back with this fluffier brush with the first transition color. And I'm going to take it a little bit above the darker color. To help blend out. Because you never, even though this is performance makeup and it's going to be a little more dramatic, there we go, a little more dramatic than your typical everyday wear makeup, you still want it to blend. Okay, you don't want to have any harsh edges. You want it to be still a nice gradient of color. Gradient meaning you can't see where there's no sharp edges. Each color blends seemingly with the next, okay? There's no sharp lines. The only sharpness that we're gonna have is in our wing liner, okay? That's where we're gonna have that really nice sharpness, okay? So blend, blend, blend. And if you still see that you have a lot of harshness with the second transition color, take the first one and just at the edges, blend it out. Okay. I'm gonna keep going with this eye and finish it. So I typically can move back and forth, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna take now the little bit of the darkest color, which is the black, and I'm going to start working that as well on the outer with a smaller brush. And this is a Morphe M507. And working that color first at the outer third of the eye. If you notice, I'm just kind of stamping it first. I'm not doing any windshield wiper motions just yet. I'm just trying to get that color payoff there before I start moving product around. Okay. So a lot of people make the mistakes and they leave it like this. You still want, like I said, even though it's more dramatic, you want it to blend. You want to have a nice gradient effect, okay? And you might be asking too, how come I haven't done my face makeup? Because fallout, okay? You don't want to do your foundation before because you're gonna have to wipe it off with all this blending. So now I'm taking the this transition color right here, just a little bit to help me blend out that black. Just a little bit of a, you can see what I'm doing here. And slowly bringing it inward. Okay. Now I'm just going to start feathering it in. Super, super softly. You don't want to take too much of the dark color and take it all the way in, because then it's going to look like maybe you have an all around like black eye. So you just want to mainly keep most of the color pigment on the outer corner than in the inner corner, okay? For most eye shapes, this is what's going to work. I'm going back again and adding a little bit of that black again on the outer third. And then going back with this smaller, fluffier brush and blending that out. That is the trick to having a really good blended eyeshadow look, is, you know, having your different types of brushes, because that's a big thing with placement, okay? Because you don't want to go right away with this big old fluffy brush and try to place that darkest color right. It's going to be too much. You want to rein it back in. What is the word? You want to reel it back in, okay? You want to start little and slowly build up, okay? All right. You want to start off small and build it, because you have more control that way. Because if you start too big, you can't fix that anymore. You're gonna have to start all over again. Okay, now I'm gonna go back to the original fluffier brush and make sure that the outer edges are blended And there's no harsh lines and anything, okay? Now, the big craze right now is cut creases. You can do a cut crease if you want to. That typically takes a lot longer and more precision. So if you're like, you know, a lot of these girls are waking up at 5 a.m. sometimes to, you know, 4 a.m. depending, for pep rallies, you know, the day before the football game. I mean, the day of the football game, or they are, you know, competition season. You're not going to have, you know, many hours to get ready. Sometimes you have to be like, you know, super fast. You're not gonna, most of the time you're practicing, you're making sure that you have your choreography down, especially if it's competition. You're not gonna spend hours doing your makeup. You want to make sure that you have a good routine down that you can do super quick. It's gonna look glamorous, but you still, I mean, you're gonna take most of the time to rehearse, okay? So doing a cut crease, and especially on nerves, like I know I was always like super nervous before a competition or any performance. I'm usually, not that I'm shaky, but I'm just saying that, you know, when it's something so precise like that, it's like, ooh, if you have nerves, I'm like, ugh. So I'm not gonna do a cut crease today, but a lot of these young girls, they may be really good at cut creases and do them really easily. So I'm just taking the lightest color, the matte. I'm gonna first start with the matte, and I might build into a shimmer. You can, but traditionally it's mainly matte. You can kind of make it look like it's a cut crease, you know? So I'm using a flat shader brush, and this one is also by Morphe. This is an M124. And I'm just going into literally the crease where my eye folds, and just taking it in there and depositing the color, okay? Now, if it's like, you know, a performance where it's, you know, your end of school show, or it's a, you know, sometimes if your director allows it, you can do a glitter. And the glitters that I highly recommend are the Stila Glitter and Glows. Oh my god, those things are amazing. Okay, now what I'm doing now is I'm just trying not to have such a harshness in the line where the light color meets the dark color. So I'm kind of fading it. So I'm getting a little bit of the black and fading it into that darker shade. But yeah, this is an amazing palette. I mean, for the price, I have a lot more expensive palettes that are great, but I mean, if I can get the same look with this more budget-friendly one, I will. Okay. Now, if you did want to, so that's just using this matte white. You can use like this more shimmery one. So I'm gonna go with a little bit of that right at the center. I'm using just stamping motions. Okay. I will use the Glitter and Glow in a little bit to show you what that looks like. Okay, next thing, I'm gonna use liquid liner. You can, if you want to, if you're a beginner, let's do it that way, just in case you're not ready for, okay, so we're gonna go with the black shadow, taking on a small angle brush, and this one's by Essence, and it's a precise eyeliner brush. This is what you can do if you're not sure how to do your wing just yet, or you're a little bit scared. I'm gonna take this and just stamp it. Onto your lash line. Stamp, and then you can connect it. This can be like just a little map as to how your wing liner. You can leave it at that. You can for sure leave it at that if you want to. I always typically like to do a wing liner to elongate my eye. So I am going to do that. I'm just gonna stamp the outer. Drag it out a little bit. Where my bottom lash line is at. Kind of just stamp it and then just kind of drag it a little bit. I love this liner because it's so tiny and precise. And it's only like $2 or something at Ulta. It's my fave. I buy, like, I have these in my kit too because they're so good. I have a whole bunch of them. And then just connect. Okay. And again, don't worry if you do get it a little bit, because you're going to clean all of this mess up in a second, okay? So don't worry. I'm going to start now doing this one is by Physicians Formula, and I love it because it has that brush. It's not a felt tip, it's a brush tip. So I just feel like I get more precise. And if you notice, I'm using this, my pinky, as an anchor and to stabilize. And you can see, now I made the little triangle. Now I'm going to fill that in. This is the waterproof one. I don't know if you can see how it has the little droplets. So this will stay in place. Now, this is very similar to the Kat Von D Trooper liner, but it does, if you can see, it does have a shininess to it. So you can go back with your liner brush and you can tap a little bit of shadow to make it more matte. Okay. I'm gonna show you. Okay, then you can take a makeup removing wipe. you can clean up, see all this little mess right here? You use that. To clean up that wing liner. Good God. You can also use a little Q-tip. I usually kind of wet it with that to get it more, if you want more preciseness. There we go. Okay, and then the other step I love to take, and I will not miss this step, is using BlackTrack fluidline. That is my number, because I don't, can you see how you can see the skin in between my lashes? Because I don't have full lashes. You see how you can see it, right? It's not so deep, rich black. Okay, I'm gonna fix that. And you have to, absolutely have to do this. Especially if you're gonna wear false lashes. Watch the difference that'll make. Oh, I mean, I see this all the time, even in ads sometimes, like when they do, you know, I don't know, they're promoting false lashes or something, and I can see all the skin. I'm like, oh, I wish it would be like just all rich and black, like, So I'm gonna take that, expose it, and I'm just taking BlackTrack fluidline with a flat eyeliner brush. And this one's by Loreal. It's my like favorite flat liner brush. And now do you see how thicker and black it is at the base? Look at that. See the difference? Dang. Okay. And then I just kind of stamp it on the top as well, just to make sure everything's like super duper rich in that black color. Okay. Now I'm going to take the bigger, fluffier brush, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is blended nicely. Okay. And then sometimes I will go back after we put a false lash on. I'll go back and also tweak it a little bit more, because after you add lashes, it kind of changes the eye a little bit more. So I will add a bit more. Okay. So the next step. Okay. So my favorite lashes that are going to give you that nice, beautiful fullness without breaking the bank. Like I was saying before. The lash that I love, absolutely love, is this Salon Perfect. So you can see it. 630, fully stacked. These are awesome performance lashes, okay? These are what they look like. They're super full. They are just going to really open up the eye, and you will be able to see your eye from the stands or from the audience. Look at how pretty that is. Okay. And of course, you're going to measure them first to see if they're going to fit the length of your eye, because you sometimes too, a lot of people forget to do that, and then they have like these little lashes that are like either glued too far down and then out. It's yeah, so just measure it, make sure that they're going to fit your eye correctly, Okay. So yes, these, I have already worn these before, so I know that I did cut a little bit because I have a little bit of a smaller eye. But again, too, sometimes, you know, performers, they want to elongate their eye. So they might leave it because they might have like a wing liner and they want their eye to look bigger. They might not need to cut it because even this black liner is going to cover it. But you just have to, you know, kind of play with it and see. I'm going to use my favorite lash glue. The Kiss lash glue is my favorite. I'm going to use that. I'm going to take these lashes and I'm just going to brush on the adhesive, okay? And you're going to leave it there for about 30 seconds to get tacky, because this is the #1 rule when putting on lashes, is to not put them on right away with the glue being very wet and slippery, because it's going to get all over your eye. It's going to be a hot mess. So as I have it in one hand, now I'm taking the other hand and I'm using an eyelash curler. You can take whatever, which one. The one I'm using is the Shiseido one. It's my all-time fave. So any eyelash curler to your liking. Curl the lashes a little bit. So from the base, I like to go the base and then slowly move it upward. Okay. Now I'm going to take mascara, preferably waterproof mascara, okay? Because you're going to be running around, not running around, but you're going to be dancing. You're going to be, you know, a really good one is this Wet n Wild one. They have a waterproof version. This is not the waterproof. The waterproof version is blue. That one is amazing. I don't have that one readily available. I need to go buy another one. I love that too for the but today I'm just going to be using the Benefit Roller Ball. But any mascara, but you have to make sure that it is waterproof. You want to make sure that with all the sweating and the perspiring that it's going to stay. It's not going to run. Okay, by this time, this should be tacky. And what I mean by tacky is that it's not slippery. I'm going to use I love using this tool just to make sure that I grab it. That I get it right there. You have to also look down into your mirror, not look straight ahead, because it's going to be hard to put that in. So you can have to tilt your head back. I have my mirror right here, so I have to usually tilt it a little further back so that I'm like looking down at it, so that way I can see where I'm placing the lash. And I usually start with the end, making sure I get the end right. And then I take this tool and I make sure get the end right. And then I'm going to make sure that there we go. Now I'm gonna go to the end. Sorry, it's hard to talk while I'm doing it because these are okay. Let me articulate that a little bit better. So I do the end first, making sure where I want it, and then I grab the inner corner and I place that down. And then I go in with this tool and make sure that my real lashes are combining with the falsies, because my lashes are still a little wet from the mascara. So I'm making sure. And then you don't always have to do this. I sometimes hold my eye and taunt, but that can cause wrinkling. So, but I want to see what if it really did lay nicely, and it did. So, because sometimes you'll notice there are little gaps or whatever. So I'm just making sure. And I love this tool because it's really nice and thin, you know, tapered. So I really can get in there and make sure, even at the base, that it's like blending these falsies and my real ones together. Okay. All right. man, see the difference? Side. I'm gonna go back with the smaller tapered, and I'm just going to make sure that there's still no harshness. Awesome. Okay, I'm gonna go finish this eye, and then we'll start with the foundation in a second. Okay, all right, I am back. So I have the other eye done, ready to go. Okay, so now time to do, oh dang it, I forgot to go wet my sponge. I'm using the Wet n Wild sponge. As you can tell, I like a lot of Wet n Wild. I think you get such amazing quality for such little money. So yeah, a lot of Wet n Wild. Okay, so you need to start off with a really great primer. So depending on your skin type, is what type of primer is going to be best for you and your skin. I typically do more of a moisturizing, something that's not going to dry my face out. And I usually do like the e.l.f. Jelly Pop. This is amazing. Or the Porefessional by Benefit. This is one of my faves. Another, I really wanted to point this out, is that they have these kits too. Smashbox is another favorite of mine. And they have all three of the primers. So you have a primerizer, which is like a moisturizer. You have the Smooth and Blur, and then you have the primer water, which is amazing. So that, I got it during the holidays, and they still have it. I think it's still a great value for $22, but I got it for half that. So I got it for $10 or $11. But that is amazing, especially for you to have it in your performance bag. They're not the full-size products, so it's not going to take up a lot of space, and they're amazing products. So yeah, so I started, I did the primerizer. This was from last year's collection. That's why it has a different packaging, and it's smaller, of course. It's not the full size. The full size is like really big. So I did that, and now I'm going to go in. Oh, another one that I want to mention is this Master Blur Stick. This is amazing too. It has a little bit of a tint. It has three. It has a translucent, this one, which is light to medium, and then a medium to dark. This one is amazing because you just draw it on, and it's very pore filling, and it also, of course, it's going to help keep the makeup on. But if you're more of an oilier skin type, they do have, Smashbox has a really amazing one. It's like an oil control one, and YX has one. There's a lot of brands. Milani has one. Everybody nowadays has a good, so if you're more very oily, you're going to want to do a mattifying primer. So with that said, we'll start off with, I'm going to do this one, the Maybelline. So I kind of just put it on where I know I have the most pores and I want more smoothing. Here, okay? You can just draw it on. And then use your fingers and press it and smooth it in. So everyone typically has, they want more coverage in the center than in the outer, so that's why I always start. And we typically have more pores like on our nose and on the sides of the nose, so smooth it out. So you want to press it in first and then smooth. Press, smooth. Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I usually do, while I'm doing my makeup, I already have a lip moisturizer. So I'm going to take this Laneige, and I'm going to scoop a little bit out. This is amazing for hydrating. This is amazing for hydrating the lips. Especially if you're going to be using a liquid lipstick or mattifying lipstick, which you typically do want to be using that for stage makeup. You don't want it to be glossy or moisturizing, because those typically just, they wear off. And especially if you're doing like contact work, or, you know, it just depends on the dance or whatever, but if you're doing a lot of contact work, you don't want it smearing on anybody's costume or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you're using a matte lipstick. So make sure that you moisturize. So while I'm doing my makeup, the rest of my face makeup, I'll have this on, this little lip mask on. Okay, so then I got my sponge. Okay, so as far as foundations, okay, since it's going to be performance, you're going to want a foundation that's going to, like, again, last through sweating, perspiring, and just moving, and you don't want it to go anywhere. One that I recommend highly is the Urban Cover. It's one of my faves. It's really awesome. It does have SPF, so if you're going to be out, like, let's say the football field, performing, this is a good one. Another one is the Revlon Color Stay. That is a go-to, tried and true for a long time, many years. The Maybelline 24 Hour. This one is really good. This one's really good, but for me, I'm a little more sensitive to it because I just have to make sure that I'm really moisturized and I'm really well prepped, because this can tend to dry me out. But boy, does it stay. It stays in place, let me tell you. And the coverage is really good. So that one is another amazing one. High end, you got the MAC Studio Fix Fluid, which is amazing. A long wearing. My personal favorite that I have in my kit is the NARS Natural All Day Foundation. This is, oh, it's amazing because it looks like skin, but it is full coverage and it looks amazing, and it photographs really well. But like I said, yes, for being outside, if you're going to be outside for football games and stuff, especially in earlier part of the football season, it's going to be very, especially here in Texas, it's very hot. So you want to make sure that you have an SPF, either an SPF on or a foundation that has SPF. So I would recommend that one. And Wet n Wild also has some really good ones as well, but it's all depending on your skin type. Again, if you have an oilier skin type, you want to make sure that your foundation is, you know, oil control. Or I mean, I can still use an oil control foundation, but I just have to make sure that I am very well prepped, because I tend to have a drier skin type. So just pay attention to that. If you find yourself very oily, you want to do an oil control, you know, but don't do it all oil. You don't have to do all, like a prepping oil control, foundation oil control, because sometimes that in itself might also be, you need moisture. So if you're stripping that away from your skin, you just have to find the combination that is right for you. I'm going to use what's right for me. So I'm going to go in, I already did the Master Blur Stick, so I did the primerizer and then the Master Blur Stick. Okay, so now the foundation I'm going to use today is, let's see, because I want to try a new foundation out. I've actually worn this once and I loved it. This is a new one. I'm going to do a separate video on this, and this is the Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation by Maybelline. I just loved how it looks, so that's why I'm gonna use this. But to each its own. Just make sure that you listen to your skin type. Okay, so this is a little bit darker than what I am, but that's okay. I'm gonna help it. So I'm gonna use a beauty blender. And it's okay if it's just a tiny bit darker than what you really are, because you can fix it with some concealer. So we'll do this. yes. I really like this foundation. I've been trying it out and I really do like it. It does wear really well for me. Do another small pink for the other side. It does match me. I thought it was gonna be a little darker, but no, it actually does. It works. Blend that down into the neck a little bit. Okay, and so when you're putting on your foundation, you never really want to like really press down and drag it. You just want to bounce it onto the skin a little bit and slowly blend it out like that. Okay. All right, so that's the foundation. Oh gosh, this foundation, I am in love with this foundation. Okay, and you can use the Tarte Shape Tape, like I said before, as well as a concealer. Like I use that as my prep too for my eyeshadow, but you can also use it underneath the eye. I wanted to give you another option that's another amazing concealer. Is the Makeup Revolution is a dupe to it. This one is the Conceal and Hydrate, but they also have the regular one, which is not as much hydration, but this one does have more hydration. Let me see if I can find that one. Oh, here it goes. The Conceal and Define. This is the other one. The Conceal and Define. This is amazing. It's a dupe to the Tarte. You have Milani. This Milani one is also amazing. Or the e.l.f. 16-Hour Camo Concealer. This is also really amazing for drugstore. Whoo! This one is a little more drying for me. I have to make sure that I have a lot of like hydration before I put this, but this lasts a long time. So the e.l.f. Camo, ooh girl, amazing. So I am gonna go today with the what is this? The Conceal and Define. Yeah, I'll do Conceal and Define. I'm gonna do it in number 2. So I'm gonna take, with this one you have to do little dots, okay? You don't want to do like drag because that's gonna be a lot of product. I do number 2 and I kind of mix a little bit of number 4 as well to get my perfect shade. I'm gonna go back with number 2, I forgot. And I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose. Cupid's-bow here, my forehead, connect it to my nose. Okay, that's typically what I do to highlight. Okay, when you highlight, you want to bring forth. So what I like to do too in between is I like to spray a little bit of primer water or some type of hydrating spray. This one's by Smashbox, which is already almost out. Good Lord. To help me blend out. And this is a primer. NYX has a really good primer water. I highly recommend that one too. I don't have any more of that because I already ran out of that. But that is also a very good primer water to help you while you do your foundation. So you make sure that your foundation is not cakey. You're not caking up the foundation. Yes. Trying to work fast too because this one does tend to set pretty fast since I used the original Conceal and Define. It's very, very similar to the Tarte Shape Tape. Tarte Shape Tape I think is 24, and then the Conceal and Define is like 6 or 7. And then if you use your Ulta coupon, you can get it for cheaper. They always have a coupon that you can use. Okay. So I typically don't do a lot of baking for an everyday, but again, we're doing performance makeup. So performance makeup, you can bake. I like to use the Maybelline powders. Loose powders are really good if you love high-end and you can do high-end. Laura Mercier translucent loose setting powder is also amazing. I'm gonna go with these today. And the fair is a little too light for me, for my liking, and then the light is a little too dark, so I mix both of them. So I mix a little bit of the fair and the light together to make my favorite. Let me show you. See how this is light, it's way too light. I mean, way too dark, and this is way too light for me. So I'm gonna use a little bit of both. I'm gonna do a little mixture. So I put it in the cap and I kind of mix it up. So I put, of course, more of the fair, but then I add a tiny bit of the light. But okay, so I have to make sure that I'm not gonna set any creases, so I need to make sure. I'm gonna tap it all out. Okay, start with this. And a little bit on the sides of my nose. I'm just gonna start a little bit right here. I'm not gonna do a lot because I still need to use a cream contour. So I'm not taking it all the way yet, all the way out yet. Okay, I'm just taking it right here because I tend to crease really quickly. My concealer, no matter what concealer it is, it always tends to start moving around. So you can take a darker concealer from the whatever line that you're using. Just use a darker one to start contouring. Like this is the Wet n Wild Dark Cocoa. This is a good one, like for me, for light to medium. You can use this. I just got a what's another one? Oh, LA, the LA Girl, the ones that come in the little squeezy tube. That's also really amazing. That has one, but I haven't used that in a while. And the one that I had, I ran out of. I just had another little stick here that I just got from Physicians Formula that I liked, that I was trying out. But anyways, okay. Oh, here it goes. It was next to the Blur Stick by Maybelline. So there's something like this, a stick. Or like I said before, you can use a concealer that is within the same line that you're using for your under eye. Just use a darker one. So I'm going to start with this one. And you always want to follow the top of the ear at that angle, okay? You can use a brush to kind of see where you're supposed to, but never bring it fully in, okay? You want to be at least 3 fingers away from your nose. So you're going to stop it. Usually take it right there, okay? And then I take it on the top. If you have a smaller forehead, you do not want to do this, okay? You'll skip out on this if your forehead is a lot smaller. And whatever's left over, I'm not going back with additional product because I don't want to have too much. Whatever's just left is what I'm gonna use to contour a little bit of my nose. Okay, a little bit on the bottom of my lip. Okay, I've had a lot of technical difficulties today. So, but I'm back. Oh, good Lord. So it cut me off. You know how, have you ever seen that commercial where it's like the, I don't know if it's for, it's for a different, it's a phone commercial, but it's about, you know, iPhones filling up storage, right? And, you know, you're in the middle of doing something or taking a picture or video, and it, you know, that screen pops up, says storage is full. That just happened to me right now. So anyway, so I already set, brushed off my, sorry, I think it ended where I was like doing my contour and then I was blending it out. Okay, so it's already blended out. I went back and I like set some more of the sides of my nose with my, the little mixture of the light and the fair Maybelline loose powder. So now I'm gonna go and start using a contour powder. So we were talking about the different types of contour powders that I like. Of course, this Wet n Wild one. I have both colors. Wait, hold on, where is it? Oh, here we go. The Dulce de Leche and then the Caramel Toffee. When I'm more tan, I use this one, and then this one's for like an everyday basis or whatever. I have the Smashbox one that I love as well. And I also have the other one, my tried and true that I used to use all along. I still have the old packaging one, the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. You can tell it's very well loved. Okay, this is an amazing one. If you can find, Walmart used to sell this brand, Koki. I don't think they sell it anymore if you can find it online. This is another dupe to exactly the Kat Von D one. Anastasia has one that's amazing. So any contour palette that you use. So we're gonna go in with the sticking with our, we got a lot of Wet n Wild here. I'm gonna do the Wet n Wild, and I'm gonna use a Wet n Wild brush, any type of fluffy brush. I'm gonna start with this darker side, and I'm just gonna start start by distributing the product further up at this angle, and then slowly working it a little bit further in. So starting with mainly depositing it on the outer and then kind of moving it around. Setting all that bronzer that I just used. If you like to just use like one product, one and done, the Physicians Formula bronzers are amazing. Target has a set that they came out with. I'm sorry, I'm trying to give you different options. I will link some of them down below, but I'm also trying to include them here. Like this is also amazing. You can use this for contouring as well. Contouring slash bronzing. Contour is a little more ashy tone bronzer, ashy tone color. And then a bronzer is a little more warmer. If you can find, I like to use kind of in the middle of it. I'll use more of a taupey one on my nose, and then more of a warmer one on my cheek and forehead area. Now I'm gonna take a little angle brush like this. This is a Morphe E62, and I'm gonna take the Wet n Wild Dulce de Leche, because right now I am on my lighter side. It's not summer, so I'm not super tan yet. Not that I ever get super tan, no. I just get a little more color. So I'm taking that and I'm just kind of running it down, connecting it into my brow, like right, going just with my facial structure, going down the bridge of my nose. I mean, down the sides of my nose. I like this because it's at an angle, so it could fit right into this area really nicely. Okay. And then for blush, I typically do a rosier tone blush. I'm gonna take this BH Cosmetics, excuse my kids They just woke up, so excuse if you hear my kids in the background. This BH Cosmetics has a really amazing array of color, and this one's a nude blush palette. This is really awesome. If you want something more compact, you can use hold on. You can use single colors, like these Essence ones are amazing. Okay, go over there. I'll put it on right in a second, okay? Okay, yes, all right, that too. So yes, what was I saying? Oh my Lord Jesus. If you want something more compact, something like this is an e.l.f. one that's also amazing, that I love. CoverGirl has some amazing, and I mean, even Wet n Wild, I mean, their drugstore makeup has come a long way, but I am going to use like this. They look like this. These are amazing too. I like options, so I like doing like palettes, but if you don't want to bring something so big into your makeup bag, so we're gonna do a little bit of a rosier tone. Do that onto the blended cheeks into the contour bronzer color. Tiny bit goes a long way. Okay. All right, so there we go. You can add a little more if you want. You can take it down, but I typically, you're gonna want to do a little bit more again. Then you can do, back in the day, we didn't used to do highlighters or whatever. Now you can't go without your highlighter, girl. Physicians Formula has some amazing ones. Look at this, so pretty. These are so pretty. These you want to use with your beauty blender. I find that they work better because they have that color pop kind of creamy consistency. Oh, these are so pretty. Milani has some great ones. Maybelline has some great ones. So any type of highlighter, whether you want it to be more of a gold or a silver, I typically like to use one like this. And you're gonna take it in the high point right there. Whoa, and just, and you wouldn't typically think of this as a C. There we go. Okay, and the same thing to the other side. Get that really nice glow happening. The bridge of the nose, not too much. If you find that you get really oily on the bridge of your nose, or like just mainly the center of your nose and forehead, then I wouldn't put so much. But I am typically more dry, so it's okay. So yeah, when that light hits, ooh, girl, you can see these cheekbones. Okay, so these Physician Formula ones are amazing. ColourPop Hello has some amazing highlighter. Okay, then you typically, to make your eye not seem so small, you still want to open up the eyes, right? I don't typically like to do like a black liner. I typically like to do a nude or a white, because that's going to open up the eye. It's more, performance friendly, not performance friendly, but it's best for performance. I'm gonna do a nude. I'm going to take a nice shader, small shader brush, detail brush. I'm gonna go back with, I'm gonna start off with the first transition color and put that first. Okay, start with that because then we're gonna build the other colors right now. The darker colors on top of that. But you always need a good transition color to go down first to help you blend out the darker colors. Going now with like a dual fiber brush. Go a little bit lower. Now I'm gonna go in with a darker transition color right onto the lashes, the bottom lash line. Okay, I'm trying to diffuse it too. Okay, so it goes from dark black, oh sorry, I got shadow on my dark black to the lighter brown. Okay. And then I'm just gonna go with the lighter one and make sure that that's all well blended. And that gradient is nice. Okay. All right. Then go ahead and add your waterproof mascara. I don't have mine at hand right now. And okay, and then if you want to, you can add a brighter inner corner or glitter if you want to add glitter. I'm going to go ahead and add, like where's my thing yet? The same highlighter that I was using. I'm going to add a little bit into the center. All right there. Right into the center. Just to open up the eye a little bit more. And then I'm gonna take the Dulce. Sorry, this one is the caramel toffee because it's a little more yellow toned. And I'm gonna kind of clean up a little bit while I do my lip. So I just want that to be a little more precise. So I love this formula to clean up. See that? Oh, girl. Sorry again if you hear my kids in the background. Hashtag mom life. Okay. Now, reds. Okay, what was I saying? All right. So yeah, you have so many reds that, but those are my favorites, some of my favorites. So again, let's go through the list of my favorites. So in Kat Von D, this Outlaw color, oh, amazing. The Dose of Colors Date Night is another amazing red. Maybelline, I love this. This is like an orange red. Oh. Amazing for the lasting power. The Sephora, this is the sample size, but they sell this in the full size. Always red in the Sephora collection. Oh, another amazing. Last one, last but not least, is the Physicians Formula Fight Free Red. I love this formula as well. It's long lasting. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Physicians Formula one. Oh, and oh my God, I forgot one more. This Liquid Catsup by Wet n Wild. Missy and Fierce is another good one. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I almost forgot this one. This is also a very good one. This Liquid Catsup. So I'm gonna go with the Physicians Formula though. Trying to give you options here. Do you see this? Oh, so beautiful. I love the applicator too. Okay, by this time, the setting is good. Okay, let me go fix my hair. I typically would for a performance. It just depends. When I was in school, and then depending on the piece, if it's competition season, it's typically a bun, a low bun or whatever, or a side part and a low bun. If it's during football season, some teams, since they wear hats here in Texas, they'll have, you know, half up, half down. But it just depends. I'm gonna go with just the classic. I'm gonna part my hair to the side and slick it back so that you can see what the final look looks like. I'll be right back. Okay, so this is bringing back so many memories. Okay, my hair's slicked back. And the last thing I'm gonna do is, I love using the all-nighter setting spray. So the Milani one is a really good one. Love this one. All-nighter by Decay is amazing. I'm gonna go with this. This is my tried and true one. So I'm gonna just drench myself in it, and then just press it all in afterwards. And so yeah, this is my performance makeup. Bringing back so many memories, and I love it. I'm living for it. If you have any of your dance memories that you would like to share down below, go ahead and share it. Any funny memories, anything that was like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened, I would love to hear. So good luck to those who are going to be performing this year. I hope that you have a wonderful competition season, and if you know football season's already passed, but you can take this and do with it what you want. I just shared a couple of tips and tricks here, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in my new upcoming video.